kicking off and commemorating the construction of the left field apartments, but we're also commemorating the commencement of construction on the HUD Choice Transformation Plan that we were awarded last year. So I'm pleased to be joined by so many of the people that helped to make this happen, including Mayor Duggan, who has been extremely strong advocate and proponent for affordable housing during his time as mayor. And so we're pleased to be able to be here today to kick off construction of this major affordable housing investment in Corktown. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Mayor Duggan.
All right. Well, welcome to Left Field. And for those of you who aren't old enough to know what that means, last year with Pal, I got to be with Willie Horton as they dedicated Willie Horton Field. And I was here when Willie Horton hit a whole lot of balls right into the left field stands over there. And I think the new apartment complex is appropriately named. When the Ford Motor Company announced 5,000 people were coming to the train station area, we had a real risk of the kind of gentrification that has been seen in other cities in the country. And we've made a commitment as a city, we are not going to have those who stayed pushed out. And I've studied what happened in Washington, D.C. I've studied what happened in Brooklyn, seeing what's happening right now in Austin, Texas. And we moved immediately. Donald Rensher, Julie Snyder, and the team at Detroit Housing, Governor Whitmer, who was a huge supporter of this project, and Mishta, and of course, Mike Polzinelli at HUD, who has been instrumental in facilitating all of these projects. I'm glad ACD is with us today, but we all came together and said, this is not going to happen in Corktown. And the city of Detroit landed its first ever choice grant, which is the largest grant any city can get for affordable housing, $30 million. We're going to build 500 new affordable units in Corktown, so people of all incomes will be able to live in this neighborhood. And as the jobs come back, those who were here before will always have a place to stay. This, right? Somebody's happy. So this is the first step. 120 units here, 48 of them are affordable, and there are folks here who can explain all of the dominoes, but it's going to allow people from Clement Kern Gardens to move in here, so Clement Kern's garden can be rebuilt. There's a whole series of steps that will result in 500 new affordable units. And that's, it's the kind of city that we want to build, because we do believe that every neighborhood in the city should include people of all incomes, and we're going to prove right here that we can accomplish this in the city of Detroit. I was very pleased last week to announce a $200 million affordable housing initiative in partnership with several members of City Council. And at this point, I want to introduce one of the council's leaders on this, a big architect of the $200 million affordable housing plan, Councilmember Mary Waters.
Yay! This is truly an exciting time here in the city of Detroit. Thank you so much, our Mayor Duggan, my council members who are here, and all of you who are here today to witness this very historic moment right here in Corktown. Affordable housing in Corktown. That is fantastic. And as one of your at-large city council members, I am thrilled. And Mayor Duggan did mention that we rolled out the $203 million plan last week. I'm excited about that. The entire city should be excited about that, because now I'm taking a look and I see that here in Corktown, there's basically going to be some income-based housing units here that will be available to people within this project. So there could possibly be 30% of the AMI. That is absolutely fantastic news. And so I appreciate this opportunity today I also want to just talk about one of the things that we mentioned last week during our press conference, and that is a one-stop shop, a clearinghouse for all housing issues. You know, there's been a number of people who've been looking for additional housing. So now we have a one-stop shop. There'll be a telephone number that people can call. The city will have such a department. People will call that telephone number. Whatever housing issue that they have, that will be a clearinghouse. And let me just tell you a short little story, and then I'll give it up to the next person. One of the housing units that we rolled out last week is going to be in honor of Kamaya Davis. Now, who's Kamaya Davis? Kamaya Davis is an 11-month-old child, baby, who fell through the cracks of a home a few years ago because she and her mom had nowhere else to live. Those were their living conditions. Today and last week says no more of that. We're going to make sure that people have decent housing where they can live. That mother had no other place to go. That baby fell through the crack into the basement, water and feces, and that's where she died. So we're going to have a building named after Kamaya Davis, along with the hotline too. When you call that department, you know that this is in honor of Kamaya Davis, the little girl, the 11-month-old. So I want you all to start putting a face with that, you know, a reality with what really happened. That's why this housing project is so important. And it means a whole lot more to me knowing that we can do these things in honor of that little girl, that little baby girl, Kamaya Davis. And so with that, thanks again, Mayor Duggan. I appreciate the partnership. We appreciate the partnership. We have a lot of work to be done, and we're going to get it done, too. So thank you so much. And with that, would you like for me to introduce our next at-large member, the number one, Coleman Alexander Young, the second.
Wonderful job. Thank you for make sure everybody knew about that number one. Let me just say, first of all, always good to be with you guys. I think the greatest thing that people can do with their lives is something that will outlast it. Most people won't remember what we say today. They won't remember the great speeches, and we had great speeches today. But most people will remember this place as a place where people who were looking for affordable homes were able to get it. People who were looking for shelter were able to get it. People who were looking for jobs and opportunities were able to get it. Think about the lives that we will fundamentally change. The people who will get jobs here, the people who will feed their families here, the people who will be able to put their kids through college because of the jobs that were created here. The families that might be homeless, that were able to get their lives on track and be able to live here. That is what this is. And you know, they say that law shouldn't rest on the simple will of the majority, but the eternal foundation of righteousness. And the foundation that we're breaking here is not just the foundation of a new project. It's the eternal foundation of righteousness. Because we are giving to the citizens, we are giving to the city. You here are giving something to the citizens we could never give them back. And I think the greatest thing that you could do as a leader is understand that power is only important as an instrument to serve the powerless with, and to give the shirt off your back for those that do not have, and to be able to invest in those and give them things that we cannot pay, and give to those who cannot pay you back. And I think what we're giving people is opportunity, we're giving them hope, we're giving them jobs, and more importantly, we are adding value to their lives and giving them a better way of life. So I just want to say it's my honor to be here in North Corktown. I know this is the beginning of a major investment in the city of Detroit, where we can truly say when we're being inclusive, we mean it with mixed income housing, with affordable housing, with quality housing. That just because we say affordability doesn't mean we say lack of quality. So in conclusion, I just want to say that as a great man once said, man should not aspire to stand on top of the world. but stoop down and lift mankind higher. We have done that today. So job well done, everybody. I look forward to having many more breakthroughs and many more project groundbreakings to come. Thank you. Appreciate you, everybody. Who's next? You next? All right. And now give it up for Miss Schneider, everybody.
Thank you, members, council members Young and Waters. Big initiatives like this take support from our council members at large, and of course our District 6 council member. We're pleased to have Member Gabriela Santiago Romero here today to commemorate this occasion with us.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to District 6. As has been mentioned, I am your District 6 City Council member. I am incredibly excited and honored to be here. I'm just here to share brief words of gratitude. I'm incredibly grateful to the administration for the work that they've been doing for years now to make sure that we are creating mixed-use development. I'm incredibly grateful for our state legislators who are putting more housing funding into our cities that desperately need so, and to our local leaders who I see here standing next to us today. It's going to take all of us to really meet the needs that we all have. I am here to also remind District 6 residents and Detroit residents as a whole that as long as I'm here, I will make sure to be working together with the administration to continue to do incredible work like we're doing today. This is just a beginning for us, y'all. I understand, because we hear the calls every single week, how much need we have when it comes to truly affordable housing. And today's an example that we can do it. We can make sure that we have mixed-use income, rental spaces, and that we have the wraparound services that residents need as well. And it's really exciting. So just really, really grateful, here to do the work, excited to continue to move forward, and look forward to see what we do together, because for me, this is just the beginning. Thank you all so much. And with that, I'll hand it back to our director, Julie Snyder.
So as has been mentioned, we're not only here to celebrate the construction of these left field apartments, but also the commencement of construction for the Choice Neighborhoods Grant. We are fortunate in Detroit to have who I believe to be one of the best field office directors in the country, and I worked for HUD, so that.
What do you mean one of?
I mean, the best. He's pretty great. So we are very fortunate to have him. He definitely is dedicated to bringing the absolute best of HUD to Detroit. And to talk about HUD's investment and this grant, Mike Pulcinelli.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. As I was sitting back there listening to our mayor and council members speak, I was in awe how they could just come up here, no notes, just off the cuff, and they're so engaging and interesting, and I'm just really jealous. But with me, I work for HUD. I'm a bureaucrat, so I got prepared notes, so sorry about that. So anyways, thank you. I am pleased to be here to celebrate the groundbreaking of the first phase of the Clement Kern Gardens transformation. I want to give a congratulations to the entire Detroit team on behalf of the Detroit HUD field office, as well as the HUD headquarters Choice Neighborhoods team in Washington, D.C. Today marks the culmination of years of hard work of so many people, marked by the Neighborhoods Implementation Grant that the city was awarded in 2021. And I'd especially like to thank and recognize the efforts of the key players. First and foremost, our awesome mayor, Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan, who always is on my case to make sure the things we do benefit the residents and all residents of Detroit. Julie Schneider, the Director of Housing and Revitalization, and her staff for all of their tireless hours of work into this grant. I want to thank Alexis Alexander, who is the Choice Neighborhood Project Manager. Alexis, where are you? Kind of give a wave wherever you are. You're awesome. I actually met Alexis several years ago before she worked for the city, and we were in the same car on the annual point in time count in the city where we would count the homeless on a given very cold night in January. And I knew back then you were going to go places, so congratulations. American Community Developers, who's the developer of this project here. I've worked for them for more years than I care to say. But they're a great group. Jerry Kruger, its president, thank you. Special thanks to Mike Essien, who you're going to hear from in a little bit, for his nonstop work on this project. So HUD recently celebrated the 10-year anniversary since the very first Choice Neighborhood Implementation Grant was awarded. And in those 10 years, grantees have spent nearly $4 billion in public and private sources, and billions more leverage dollars are expected. When we talk about Detroit's Choice Neighborhood, here is some of what's in store for this community. The Community Builders has already established an on-site presence in the Corktown community to carry out case management and service programming for targeted housing residents. The overall plan will result in 841 new units across 7 phases of development. And I don't know if we've publicly come out with a proclamation on this, but recently the city has signed on to HUD's House America initiative, which is a national initiative of over 100 communities throughout the country who have committed to expanding the supply of affordable housing and working to reduce and end homelessness in the city of Detroit. With today's groundbreaking, the first phase will provide 120 units of brand new mixed income housing, with many more phases on-site and off-site to come. Street calming, pedestrian safety, community gardens, and streetscape initiatives are in the works. A planned community empowerment center at the Owen School site that will house people plan services, including early childhood education, health and wellness, and youth cultural enrichment. And the project will not only support the revitalization of the historic neighborhood, but will also provide the residents of Clement Kern Gardens the opportunity to return to new housing in their community. And I actually skipped a page, but I wanted to hit a few points here that were very important. So this Choice Neighborhood, which is HUD's signature place-based program that is designed to help transform neighborhoods that have been historically disinvested into neighborhoods of opportunity. And I wanted to say 10 years ago, we issued our first grant, but Detroit is just one of 40 Choice Neighborhood implementation grants that have been awarded nationwide. These grants are hard to get, so Detroit's proposal had to be spot on. And we've seen remarkable results from this select groups. Of the 40 grantees throughout the country, they have created 29,000 units of mixed income housing. Average resident incomes have increased over time in nearly all of the Choice Neighborhood sites, and in some cases they have more than doubled. Incredible education partnerships have been created, and neighborhood improvements such as new neighborhood retail, grocery stores, homeowner rehab programs, and recreational and other amenities have been put into place. So in closing, I want to congratulate the city, congratulate Mayor Duggan, Clement Kern Gardens residents especially, American community developers, and the entire development team. I thank you for inviting me here today to celebrate in this exciting milestone, and I look forward to continuing to partner with you on behalf of the Department of Housing and Urban Development and support all of the City of Detroit's efforts. And I especially look forward to being invited back to the ribbon cutting, which is the one thing I like better even than a groundbreaking. So thank you, and I will turn it back over to Julie.
To accomplish big, bold initiatives, you have to have not only the support of federal partners, your local legislators, but also your state housing authority. MISHDA, fortunately, is aligned to achieve big goals and big ambitions in this neighborhood around affordable housing. And we're joined today by Liz Rodemaker, the Low-Income Housing Tax Credit Allocations Manager.
I see it's raining again, so we're going to try and make this short and sweet and try to keep everybody dry, right? So MISHDA's excited to be here, and we're excited to be at any opportunity we can to help develop and create more units. We really focus on 2 things in my department. We focus on creating homes, and we focus on partnering with all of these great partners around the state in order to do that. The homes that we try to create, we are looking to create homes with areas of opportunity, amenities, and this is a great site that demonstrates a lot of that. It's got this great colorful background, you know, left field, everything baseball associated with it, and everything Detroit. It's a great site, and it's a great thing. We've got all these jobs nearby. We have local amenities. We have transportation options. these are all things that we're trying to create. But these homes that we're trying to create areas where individuals can come home, take your shoes off, and stop worrying about what's outside your front door. And placing homes in areas that we can do that is important, where you're not worried about how you're getting to work every day. You're not worried about how you're going to pay your rent this month. You're not worried about making 6 trips to the grocery store because it's across town. What we're really trying to do is just create that space where everyone can kick off your shoes and put on your sweats and just relax when you get home. And I think that this project will be a great opportunity and a great example of all of that. I know for a fact that it's a great example of us partnering to create that housing and those homes. ACD has been a great partner with MSHA throughout the years. HUD being involved is making a huge contribution to this area and to this project, and we couldn't do it without them. CREA is the equity provider. They're also making a huge financial contribution that this project would not be able to proceed without it. And then Citizens being the lender. Now, of course, we also have to thank the city for their involvement and all of our back and forth over the last few months trying to find a way to make sure that everything can keep moving forward, as well as the Detroit Housing Commission and those residents of Clement Kearns, we hope, and residents of Corktown will be able to kick your shoes off, enjoy the housing, and enjoy what our partners are here to create. Thank you.
So thanks for standing in the rain. I hope you all have umbrellas. I have an extra one somewhere. But we've been working on this thing since 2019, so all the rain in the world will not rain on this occasion. So every sentence in a Choice Neighborhood Grant has to be intentional and reflect back to the planning work that was done with the community. There's a lot of people who led that work here, including from on behalf of the planning department, Katie Trudeau. She's been a great partner in this work in the 6 or 7 years that we've worked together, and I'm pleased to introduce Katie Trudeau, Deputy Director of the Planning Department.
Thanks, Julie. Good afternoon. So the Planning and Development Department has been working in the Corktown neighborhood in earnest since about 2018, starting with first the community benefits process with Ford Motor Company, and then with the framework planning process, which morphed into the Choice Neighborhoods Transformation planning process throughout 2019 and 2020. And what we heard over and over and over again, starting back when we first started, from residents and from community groups, was that we need about the importance of affordable housing. The vision, the vision for what you see here today of a diversity of incomes in Corktown came in large part from residents, community groups, and the Ford Neighborhood Advisory Committee. The Planning and Development Department is so grateful to those citizens for working with us over the years, supporting the vision for affordable housing, and being a part of this development that's coming to fruition today. In addition to the residents and community groups who've been working with us, I'd also like to acknowledge a few of my team members. Kevin Schrantz in the Planning and Development Department, who led the planning process in 2019 and 2020. Shelby Howard, who's now working with him to implement the neighborhood elements that Mr. Polsinelli mentioned earlier. And then previous to Shelby was Mr. Trey Scott, who we're privileged to have with us today. They set us on a path to achieve what we are acknowledging today. I'd also like to acknowledge quickly the leadership and vision of the Housing and Revitalization Department team. We worked hand in hand with this group every step of the way. Without their commitment to affordable housing in Detroit neighborhoods and their ability to believe in a truly mixed income neighborhood in Corktown, we wouldn't be here. Specifically, I'd like to acknowledge Rebecca LeBove, Kelly Vickers, Larry Katrinar, Alexis Alexander, Alex Alexander, Siona Hall, and Naomi Beasley. Lastly, I'd like to just recognize how momentous this truly is. To think that in just 2018, one of the greatest concerns of existing residents in Corktown was a lack of affordable housing options and a fear of rising housing costs, to today in 2022, this being designated as a national HUD choice neighborhood, and the city and community breaking ground on this important project. To move with urgency to address resident concerns through thoughtful planning, community engagement, and into implementation is of the utmost importance to us. And on behalf of the Planning and Development Department, I couldn't be happier to be a part of that. Thank you.
Another element to make all of this successful is really invested public-private partnerships. We are so grateful to have an affordable housing developer, American Community Developers, who's bought into this vision of the redevelopment of this neighborhood with affordable housing at the forefront. And so American Community Developers and the community builders are development partners in this larger choice effort. This site is being developed by American Community Developers. To talk about their participation in this work, Vice President Mike Essien from American Community Developers.
Thank you, Julie. We are here to celebrate groundbreaking today, but I think when we do the ribbon cutting, we should have Julie throw a first pitch or something. So you've got a little bit of time to work on your fast pitch. All right. I'm Mike Essien, Vice President of American Community Developers, and on behalf of Jerry Kruger, our president, founder, our leader, and the whole ACD and IMS crew, I want to say thank you to everybody who is here today, who has worked tirelessly to make this vision a reality. And there have been many names that have been mentioned. I look out at the faces. Job well done. This is very cool. There's a lot of history at this site. The Tigers, this was their home field for a very long time. They played their first game 90 years ago here in 1912. And of course, this was also home to the Lions for a short period of time. And not only is this historic, but it's also been a historic winning site. In '68, the mayor mentioned Willie Horton. There's a famous, what's been known as the biggest defensive play for the Detroit Tigers in their history. It was Willie Horton who fielded a ball in left field, not too far from where we are, just a few steps behind, threw out Lou Brock at home plate. It was Game 5 of the World Series, and that turned the tide for the Tigers, which eventually led to victory for the World Series in '68. Then again in '84, we pulled it off again in '84. And then 2 years ago, when we embarked on this project with the city, we set out to make this yet another historic winning moment. And as you've heard from everybody else today, 2021, the city was awarded $30 million to help support left field as the first phase of what is to be over 800 new housing units, and 500 of them set aside as affordable housing. So that's really remarkable. I want to thank everybody who's here today, who's been part of that, as I said. Everyone on the ACD team, Michael Schickler, right-hand guy over there, who's running all the analyst stuff for me. And the whole team on the IMS side for our management company, our architects, Umbra Architects out of Philadelphia, our investors, City Real Estate Advisors, and the banks, Citizens Bank, who is providing equity and also the construction loan for this project. It's very important. And most importantly, I want to thank the residents of Clement Kern Gardens who have been part of this. As you've heard, it's kind of interwoven with this project. This site here will be one of many new housing sites that residents will have the first option to choose from as we work on this community choice neighborhood initiative. So thank you all for coming out today, and I hope everybody dries off quickly. Thanks.
So this work has to be developed alongside residents. For us, much of that engagement occurred in the year 2020, which was a very challenging year, as we all know. For months during that year, residents joined us and spent time with us to share their insights, their needs, their ambitions. And we really, it was really important work, and something that I think gave us a sense of responsibility as we were carrying out the application process and making sure that we made good on what we had discussed with residents. That work was aided by the work of Claudia Sanford, Ava Torres, who helped us in that engagement work with residents. I want to make sure to thank them today. But we always want to make sure that residents are not just represented in the planning process, but also feel a part of these events. And so we're fortunate today to have two leaders of the community with us today, Torian Thomas, who's also on my softball team, and Clement Kern's council president, Rhonda Ellington. Please. Oh, okay. Well, Clement Kern council participant, Rhonda Ellington and Torian Thomas, please.
I was actually expecting Torian to go first, but that's okay. Let's see. I'm going to try to just hit on a few key points, and if exceeding the time. Please, someone give me a signal. Can you hear me okay? Bonjour, je m'appelle Rhonda Marie Ellington, and ça me plaît de parler à vous cet aujourd'hui. In case you don't speak French, what I said is, hello, my name is Rhonda Marie Ellington, and I'm pleased to speak to you today. I am a resident of Clemenkern Gardens. I have lived at the complex for 25 years. I have raised 3 adult biological children there as a single parent, and I'm proud to call some of my daughter's best friends my daughters too. And I'm also a grandmother of 5 beautiful granddaughters. I'd like to start by saying I love my city. I truly do. I hope you can feel that or get that impression from me, because it's not just an impression, it's the truth. I was raised in Detroit by 2 parents, and I thank God both my parents are still alive today. I am a proud Cass Tech graduate, class of '83. Cass Tech, second to none. I also, in addition to being a product of Detroit Public Schools, I taught as a substitute teacher in Detroit Public Schools for about 13 years. CKG, or Clemenkern Garden residents, are much like Detroiters all over, whether you are from the north side, east side, west side, northwest, south side, any side of Detroit. And what I mean by that is that many of us are rooted in a faith in God. I, for one, believe in God the Father, Jesus the Son, and the Holy Spirit. But no matter what your faith, many of us as Detroiters and CKG residents are strongly rooted in our faith, and that's important. We love our family. We value hard work and education. The world, sometimes the media, would have you believe that Detroiters are lazy or trifling. That is the furthest thing from the truth, okay? Detroiters are rooted in, like I said, faith in God, family, hard work, and education. We have style. We are artists here in Detroit. We are creative, we are determined, and we are resilient. And we care about each other, and we care about our neighbors and our community. Now, thank you, thank you. With that being said, I want to turn to a serious topic for just a moment. Recently, and this hurt my heart, at Clemenkern Gardens, where I have lived for 25 years, a young black man, if someone knows his name, I will stop and pause for a moment for you to say it. 22 years old, a DoorDash driver. He was killed at our complex delivering food. I know sometimes people didn't want me to probably say this because this is not what this event is about, but as a mother, as a child of God, if that was my son, if that was my brother, my husband, my father, I would want someone to at least acknowledge him. Okay. And with that said, let me also indicate to you, I, for one, personally, and I know many others, are praying for that young man's family. How do I feel about the grant for CKG? Let me be clear. I am not the president of the resident council, and my opinions and my viewpoints are not necessarily that of every resident. I can only speak 100% for myself, but I do believe that my opinions reflect many of the other residents. When I first heard, I was excited. I was excited. I talked to my God about it, and I said, thank you, Jesus, because this is something that we need. We need these changes. I also, though, want to be clear. Currently at CKG, many residents are dealing with a lot of different issues, from bathrooms flooding, from electrical problems. What else? Let me take my time. Rodents, various issues. And the reason I address this, yes, I love the fact that these changes are coming, but we are still living in Clemenkern Gardens right now. And many of us will still be living there for several more years before our complex is demolished and then rebuilt. So this is very important. And I like to keep it real. I keep it real with my children. I keep it real with my God and with myself. Okay? But again, I am excited about these changes. Let me be very clear. I'm so excited because as a community, as Detroiters, We are concerned about our families, and as a parent, as again, even if you're not a parent, most of us want to leave something behind for the next generation. Most of us want to have a place that is not only beautiful on the outside, but that is safe, someplace that is affordable. And we also know that many people who have been discriminated against in the housing market are the same color as me. They're black people or African Americans. Many of them are also Hispanic or other people of color or poor people. So that's important for us to know. We have got to work as a community, all of us, to change this. I'm thankful for the United Community Housing Coalition and for the community builders coming to Clement Kern, sharing resources with us, everything from health and wellness, education, financial literacy, and I'm sure there's some other things that I've left out. For this next part of what I would like to say, I'm going to be reading verbatim for part of it. Okay, I've shared with you the biggest thing. I do believe this is going to happen. I believe that these changes are going to come and that they're going to be beneficial. There are some of my neighbors at Clement Kearns, though, who think we're about to be duped, played, bamboozled, or all three. Let's be real. Folks have been pushed out of their homes before in the name of progress. Gentrification is real. The dictionary defines it as the process whereby the character of a poor urban area is changed by wealthier, often white people moving in, improving housing, and attracting new businesses, typically displacing the current tenants or residents in the process. I hope and pray that this doesn't happen. And let me be clear. My 4 feet 11 inches self, if this does happen, I will fight not just on behalf of myself, but on behalf of my neighbors and my community. We've seen it happen countless times in major cities all over the United States. And most often, again, it has affected poor or low-income people, blacks, Hispanics, or other minorities. We have been told that we can return as long as we remain lease compliant. And lease compliant, there are some things, for example, if a person is evicted or is behind on their rent, or perhaps I don't know, selling drugs from their apartment. There's a number of things that can make a person not be lease compliant. But I think it's very important for the people who are at the root of this change to, I appreciate UCHC and TCB coming out to see us and having communication with us and sharing resources. I truly do. But I believe that I do believe that I speak for most of my neighbors when I say we would also appreciate something in writing to let it be known, that something legally binding too, that will let it be known that we will be able to come back. Thank you for your time.
Well, hello. I'll keep this rather brief then. Stole some of my lines. All right. Well, really, I was going to come up, talk about some of the things that are going on here and everything, but my first job ever was working right there on that corner selling peanuts at Tiger Stadium. I look out in this crowd and I see people that own parking lots, people that own stores, people that just grew up in the community, and this is my family. All the way from the people that give you $10 to shovel the snow, to the people in the mayor's office, to the people who knocked on doors before anybody knew anything about the Choice Grant in the middle of the night to make sure people were okay and they knew, had information about what was going on. This is family. So what I want to say today, what I want to leave you with, is this is all about family. And all these people here that are in part of this group are part of our family now too. And I'd like to thank you, and I would like you to keep my family safe and keep doing the good work that you guys are doing. I appreciate you. Thank you all. Thank you for coming out. I'm not going to keep you in the rain. Y'all can get an umbrella to go somewhere and get dry, okay? Thank you so much.